Who are you and where did you come from? In America, we are separated by something called race. Other, black and white, sometimes separated into Caucasoid, Mongoloid, and Negroid, sometimes separated into even smaller groups, with white and black remaining of greatest importance, at least in the last few hundred years. But what does it all mean? Here in America, we are neatly divided into a minority called Black Americans and a majority called white Americans. But does this division actually exist, or is it merely a less than half-century old construction? You think that you know who the Black Americans are, but who are the white Americans? Is it actually a race and really the majority, or is it an elaborate construct? Many so-called white Americans will proudly report that they are Heinz 57, consisting of many people. In reality, they are not far from the truth about themselves, and for that matter, most of humanity. If there ever was a racial purity, it long since ceased to exist with mass migrations of peoples and the conquests that have taken place throughout the globe long before recorded history. Even the most learned PhDs, piled higher and deeper in self-stimulation, would have difficulty disputing a reality that is even taking place in our own time. I will repeat the question: who are you and where do you come from? If you wish to continue identifying yourself as white, what does that actually mean? White has never actually been a single group. Look at the history of Europe, created through the migration of warring tribes that are still warring. Although classified as white in America, these tribes continue to have distinctly different customs, traditions, languages, and heritage. Before entering into a lengthy discussion regarding what is actually white, it may be time to examine the purpose of this mass delusion. It may be time to revisit and dismantle the illusion of race. Those presently claiming to be white Americans would be more appropriately identified as white in name only. Anyone can be white. It is not a race. It is more than a skin color and any other characteristic that can be classified and reclassified by those who have the power to do so. The irony that most Americans are unwilling or unaware of accepting is the fact that persons of African descent have been reclassified as white in the Americas since the first Europeans stepped upon the shores. Meaningless classifications such as octoroon, quintoon, quadroon, and mulatto remain a clear evidence of some men's desire to create and maintain differences that were so superficial that they were proved meaningless. The biological joining together of humans in natural defiance of the attempts of different tribal groups to remain genetically isolated, thus increasing the biological diversity of the human race, has been taking place since the beginning of man's existence, even though our biblical texts have been conveniently rewritten to prohibit or exclude such realities. Whether the bulk of humans accept this truth tomorrow, in 100 years, or 1,000 years, the day will come to pass when the scientific and religious belief in any actual separation among humans will fade into the archives of disproven human beliefs as unceremoniously as the once scientifically proven and religiously reinforced belief that Earth was the undisputed center of the universe. White is not a color. It is merely an illusion on which our nation was built, and quite possibly the quicksand on which we will eventually meet our own self-imposed downfall.